Greetings, fellow Whovians. I'm sorry if my voice doesn't sound that great. I have a cold. Anyway, let's get on to today's review, which is Day of the Daleks. Here we go. Sir Reginald Styles, a British diplomat trying to organize a peace conference to avert World War III, is in his study at the government-owned Otterley House when a soldier dressed in grey camouflage and wielding a futuristic-looking pistol bursts in and holds him at gunpoint. However, before the gorilla can fire, he vanishes, leaving Styles to shakily tell his secretary he has been visited by a ghost. As the conference is of vital international importance, UNIT is called in. The Chinese have pulled out of the conference, and Styles will be flying to Peking to try to persuade them to rejoin, and nothing must interfere with the conference's success. However, when the Third Doctor, Joe, and the Brigadier go over to Otterley House, Styles denies ever seeing the ghost, even though the Doctor notes the presence of muddy footprints in the study. The gorilla reappears on the grounds in a vortex-like effect, but he's intercepted by two huge humanoid aliens, Ogrons, who attack him and leave him for dead. UNIT soldiers discover the severely injured gorilla and take him to the hospital, while the Doctor examines his weapon in a small black box that was found in a nearby tunnel system. Styles leaves for Peking, while the Doctor discovers that the pistol, which is an ultrasonic disintegrator, is made of Earth materials, not alien, and that the box is a crude time machine, complete with a miniature dematerialization circuit. As he tries to activate it, the vortex effect appears again, and the gorilla vanishes from the ambulance. The temporal feedback circuit on the time machine also overloads, as the Doctor explains to the Brigadier it has blown a fuse. Since everything seems to be centered on Otterley House, the Doctor decides to spend the evening there. The night passes without incident, but in the day, 3 gorillas appear from the time vortex. Annette, a woman who was in command of the mission, along with 2 men, Boaz and Shura. They come across a unit patrol and disintegrate the 2 soldiers while making their way to the house. In the study, the Doctor tries to reactivate the time machine, causing an alert to be sounded in the 22nd century. Shura enters the house, but the Doctor subdues him with some Venusian karate. Shura begs the Doctor to turn off the box, as in the future, a human controller reports to the Daleks that the machine has been activated. The Daleks command that once the space-time coordinates of the box are confirmed, whoever's using that device must be exterminated. In the present, Annette and Boaz enter with Joe as their prisoner and demand that the machine be deactivated. The Doctor complies, and the conversation makes it apparent that the gorillas believe that he is Styles, whom they are apparently here to assassinate. Dun dun dun! The Doctor shows them a newspaper to convince them otherwise, and Annette demands to know who the Doctor is. When Captain Mike Gates and Sergeant Benton enter the house to search for the missing patrol, the gorillas usher the Doctor and Joe into the cellar where they tie him up and gag them. The Doctor is able to free his mouth and jokes to Joe that he would prefer her to remain gagged, but she ungags herself. Finding the Doctor and the Joe gone, Gates contacts the Brigadier, who tells them to search the grounds again. Hold on just a sec. Hey, Billy, hey! Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. In the future, the Daleks order the controller to send troops to the frequency they detected earlier and activate a time vortex magnetron, so that anyone traveling between the 2 time zones will be drawn to the controller's headquarters. In the past, Annette sent Shura to contact the future for more orders, but Shura only manages to retrieve a bomb from near the tunnel before being attacked by Ogrons. He is wounded, but manages to stumble away. In the cellar, Joe asks the Doctor why, if the girls wanted to kill Styles, they do not just travel back to the previous day to try again, and the Doctor says that this is due to the Blinovich limitation effect. Billy, no, not right now. Anyway, before he can explain further, they are ushered back up to the study. The Brigadier is calling on the house phone. The Doctor is forced to pretend over the telephone that everything is fine at Otterley House. The Brigadier tells the Doctor that Styles has convinced the Chinese to rejoin the conference and that the delegates will arrive the next day. The Brigadier asks for reassurance that everything is alright, and the Doctor tells him it is, but the Brigadier gets suspicious when the Doctor asks him to tell it to the Marines. The Brigadier decides to go to the house and see for himself. Joe frees herself from her bonds and threatens to destroy the box the first gorilla used, but Annette and Boaz tell her that it only worked for that person. Suddenly, the time vortex effect activates and Joe vanishes into the future, appearing in the Control's headquarters due to the vortex magnetron. There, the Controller ingratiates himself with Joe, who tells him everything, including the exact time and location where she came from. The Daleks use this information and send a Dalek, supported by Ogrons, to the present, where they attack the house. And Nat and Boaz fire back and flee towards the tunnels. The Brigadier arrives just in time to gun down an Ogron, and the Doctor commandeers his jeep in pursuit of the two guerrillas. In the tunnels, he meets a Dalek and runs away, fighting Nat and Boaz just as they activate their time machines and is swept up in the same vortex. In the 22nd century version of the tunnels, the Doctor and the guerrillas are separated when Ogrons pursue them. The Doctor climbs out the tunnels onto the surface, where he sees a Dalek order Ogrons to exterminate some rebels. But the Controller informs the Daleks that Joe mentioned at Doctor that Daleks react violently, declaring that the Doctor is an enemy of the Daleks and must be exterminated. The Doctor stumbles at what appears to be a factory, and sees humans being used as slave labor, guarded by other humans. He is captured by an Ogron and is being interrogated when the factory manager comes in and persuades the interrogator to let him speak to the Doctor. When they are alone, the manager asks the Doctor which guerrilla group he comes from, but the Doctor says he is not part of any group. Before any further conversation can take place, the Controller arrives and takes the Doctor to see Joe. The manager contacts the guerrillas, who have made it back to their base with their leader, a man named Monia. The manager tells them of the Doctor, but he is discovered by an Ogron and killed. Monia decides that they must rescue the Doctor, because he seems the only man the Daleks are afraid of. After an abortive escape attempt, the Doctor is strapped down to a Dalek mind analysis device, where images of the previous Doctors are shown to confirm to the Daleks that he is indeed their sworn enemy. The Controller bursts in, saying that using the mind analysis device will kill the Doctor. They should keep the Doctor alive for information on the rebels, and he will question the Doctor personally. The Daleks gloat to the Doctor that they have discovered time travel, invaded Earth again, and changed the course of history. The Doctor calls the Controller a traitor, and the Controller explains that at the end of the 20th century, 100 years of devastating worldwide wars began, killing 7/8 of the population and forcing the rest to live in little more than holes in the ground. It was during this period that the Daleks invaded, conquering the world and using it for raw materials to fuel the expansion of their empire. Some humans cooperated. The Controller's family have been officials for 3 generations. The Doctor calls them a family of quislings. The rebel guerrillas attack the Controller's base to rescue the Doctor. Monia is about to shoot the Controller, but the Doctor tells him not to. The Daleks would have used somebody else in any case. The rebels take the Doctor back to their hideout and tell him the rest of the story. Styles organized a peace conference, and when Aldrich House was blown up, everyone was killed. The rebels believe that Styles engineered the whole thing and caused the century war that followed. That was why they used Dalek-derived time travel technology to travel to the past to kill Styles before he could destroy the peace conference. He used the tunnels because that is the only common location shared by the 2 time zones. The Doctor is skeptical, believing Styles to be stubborn but basically a good man. When the Doctor finds out that the rebels brought a bomb made of Dalekanium with them, a powerful and unstable explosive that will affect even Dalek casings, he realizes that the rebels are caught in a predestination paradox. They will cause the very explosion they went back in time to prevent and create their own history. Indeed, back in the 20th century, Shara has found his way into Alderley House and plants the bomb in this cellar. The Doctor and Joe make their way back to the tunnels so they can travel back and stop Shura, only to run into an ambush the Controller has set up. The Doctor convinces the Controller that he has the means to stop the Daleks even before they have begun, and the Controller lets him go, only to be betrayed by the interrogator and exterminated by the Daleks. The Daleks send a strike force to the 20th century to ensure their version of the future is preserved, and attack as the delegates arrive at the house. In the ensuing battle between the Daleks, Ogrons, and Unit, the Brigadier evacuates the delegates. The Doctor, back at the present, makes his way down to the cellar to try to convince Shura not to activate the bomb. Ardrey House is empty. It will all have been for nothing. However, once Shura hears that the Daleks are entering the house, he tells the Doctor and Joe to leave. He will take care of the Daleks. The Brigadier tells his men to fall back to the main road as the Daleks search the house for delegates. Shura detonates the bomb, destroying the house and everything in it. The Doctor tells Styles that it's now up to him to make the conference a success. Styles assures the Doctor it will be, because they know what will happen if they fail. The Doctor, nodding at Joe, says that they know too. Wow, so that's some pretty heavy stuff for a Doctor Who story, huh? But hey, there have been some pretty heavy stuff in stories past. So anyway, let's look at some continuity production elements here. To explain the return of the Daleks after their final end, as stated by the Second Doctor in The Evil of Daleks, lines are scripted to reveal that the humanized Daleks had lost the Civil War scene in Evil, placing the story after Evil in the Daleks' own chronology. However, the scene was ultimately not filmed. The Blinovitch limitation effect is never explicitly laid out, but the Doctor cites it as a means to explain why a time traveler cannot redo his own actions. Dalekanium is presented in this serial as an unstable explosive in the alternate future. In the Dalek invasion of Earth, Dalekanium is referenced as the material the Dalek cases are made of. This is continued in Evolution of the Daleks. The Doctor, in an unusual instance, is seen to both hold a gun and use a gun to eliminate an enemy, in this case an Ogre, near the end of episode 2. Working titles for this story included The Ghost Hunters and Years of Doom. As originally intended, the serial revolved around the Ogrons instead of the Daleks. It was planned to bring the Daleks back at the end of the season, in a serial called The Daleks in London by Robert Sloman. This plan was dropped when the production staff realized that the show would not have a hook to entice viewers. After the Third Doctor's introduction in Season 7 and that of the Master in Season 8, the Sloman serial was allegedly shaping up to be too similar to the Dalek invasion of Earth. Instead, writer Lewis Marks was asked to alter his serial to include the Dalek. Austerley Park was originally proposed as the setting and location for Day of the Daleks. This was changed utterly in the finished program and renamed Austerley in the novelization. Terry Nation, who penned the first story of the Daleks in 1963, was given on-screen credit at the end of all 4 episodes of this story as having originated them. The production team only had 3 Dalek props available for use during the production of this serial, so only 3 Daleks appear on screen at any one time. One of the Daleks is painted gold, so only 2 regular casings are seen and shot. Film editing is used to attempt the illusion of more than 3 Daleks. The final battle at Alderley House was disliked by viewers. It was quite obvious that only 3 Daleks were attacking. On the 2011 DVD release, CGI was used to revamp the scene, making it appear that more Daleks were attacking the house. Early in the first episode, there was a scene where the Doctor and Jo are working on the TARDIS console in the Doctor's lab. A mistake by the Doctor causes another Doctor and Jo to briefly appear at the entrance to the lab. Originally, this serial was to end with a scene where the Doctor and Jo went back to the lab and saw their earlier selves working at the TARDIS console. However, Dr. Paul Bernard refused to film it, saying, "Once it's over, it's over." Scripter Terrence Dix would later restore the scene in his novelization of the story. The story features TARDIS console once more outside the TARDIS itself, as seen in The Ambassadors of Death and Inferno. Drama House was instead used as a location for the peace conference. Brentford Towers in Green Dragon Lane, Brentford, was used to portray the Controller's futuristic base. The serial is unusual because episodes 2 and 3 began with the cliffhanger music that ended the previous episode. The serial is unusual because episodes 2 and 3 began with the cliffhanger music that ended the previous episode being played again. Scott Fredericks later played Max Style in Image of the Fendel. So yeah, overall a pretty good Dalek story and also good Third Doctor story as well. So I give Day of the Daleks 5 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, join me next week as we're about to be afflicted by the curse of Peladon. So until then, hopefully I'll be feeling a little better. This is Hoovy and Queen say, "Oh my giddy aunt! When I say run, run! I've a polarity of the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo! Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool."